Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I wanted to briefly talk about the sponsor because it's a Synchronicity and so it fits perfectly with this channel's theme. I'm gonna probably add the video of these nails because on here they don't look as good as they are in person. The synchronicity surrounding the sponsor is really cool. I don't know if the company, they definitely don't know about it. I didn't tell them, but I was really happy to work with them because, well, essentially, and I should be wearing the earrings now, never mind. You can find them on my previous video. I will link it here. In this video, I'm wearing the tiger's eye earrings that my husband got for me. And when I was studying the crystal one day and I thought to myself, it would be really cool if they did cat's eye nail polish. And I'm not like a major big wearer of nail polish, especially gel. Like I haven't worn gel nail polish in 10 years. Anyway, I was thinking about this in my head and I thought, let me Google it, let me YouTube it. And yes, there's such a thing as cat's eye nail polish, which is really cool how they did it. I think I spent like a good 20 minutes just looking at how they do cat eye nail polish. And essentially I opened my emails and I saw that Madame Glam, company in New York, was asking me if I wanted to show their wonderful gel polish. And I was like, let me see if you have any cat's eye gel. And I go onto the website and I see that they have a plethora of cat's eye gels. So I was like, here we go. This is a perfect synchronicity. And so I'm super grateful to be able to sponsor these nails today. I don't know if you can see, but essentially I think this is the Cosmos one color or the Pandora color. I'm pretty sure it's the Cosmos color. And these nails are really cool. They change color depending on the angle that you look at them with. So I'm super stoked about that and I just wanted to shout them out. And now to get into today's topic. I have been wanting to talk about this topic for a very long time and I'm only doing it now because it links in with the theme of synchronicity and guess it kind of updates you about where I'm at a little bit in my life, maybe thinking about having a second child. Honestly, I went through a period of time, I think about like 3 months ago or more. I'm a bit foggy on the dates now, but I was thinking to myself, I will never have another child. It was like a full-on good month of just like not wanting another child. So I can't tell you how I got from that mental state that was a good month-long feeling into the state that I'm in now, which is actually planning for a second child. But I'm there and I'm still umming and ahhing about it, but that's where I'm at. And I've been looking into hospital births, which honestly I've been back and forth about. I had a home birth and everything went pretty damn well. Apologies to swear there, but yeah, it went pretty well. I think the reason is because A, I got lucky, and B, I really planned everything that I could meticulously, and I was quite mentally strong about the fact that I wanted a home birth because I wanted to have a natural birth, and it just felt when I found out about the home birth community, I genuinely just was excited to get pregnant, which is weird because I'd never felt that before when I would watch a hospital birth on TV. you know, the documentaries One Born Every Minute or Coronation Street or whatever I would watch when I was growing up, I would always look at those situations and be like, ooh, not sure about that. But when I found the home birth community, there's lots of them out there these days. Indie birth, there's orgasmic birth, there's blissful birth. I'm just naming, the last two are like, I'm not sure if they're actual companies, but anyway, that's kind of the area that I was looking at, because it gave me incentive to want to have a child. I'll be honest, I've always wanted kids, or at least there was a period of my life where I didn't want kids, actually. I think at the time, I knew at the time I didn't want kids. I think I've always thought that I would have kids around the age that I am right now. I'm 29. My son's turning 2 this May, so that's exciting. It's been a whirlwind, but essentially I wanted to talk to you about home birth versus hospital birth. I have been a little bit enticed, I guess you could say, by the idea of hospital birth, and that's only because I came across something that I thought was pretty cool, and it's a midwifery unit essentially nearby me, which I didn't know about for my first birth, and it is beautiful. Like, I've never seen a ward look so wonderful. It has these gorgeous nature images on the wall, and you know, you can dim the lights in the room, and there's all these different amenities you can use, like a birthing pool and like one of those pulley strappy things, which I still don't know the name of, that you can hold on to when you're giving birth. And I really liked the idea of that. So when I found that, I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. I would want to be here, A, for the safety, and B, for the fact that they're actually trying to make it seem more comfortable for women. Because to me, hospitals are not that aesthetically pleasing, and they're not meant to be. Obviously, they're there to save lives, but all I'm saying is, for me, birth is something more than just an emergency. It's something that's also quite sacred. It's quite primal, of course, but for me is a rite of passage. And all different kinds of things can happen in a rite of passage, but at the same time, I do see it as something where I want to be able to appeal to my senses. And I know I have a friend who told me that she brought like fairy lights to the hospital, and I think that's so cool. And she had her birth. And there's all these great stories out there, whether it's home birth or hospital birth. So I'm not here to try and tell you what I think is better, because that's not what I'm here to do. I just came across synchronistically this video on that website, that's this midwifery unit. It was getting you to choose, do you want to have a home birth or a hospital birth? And I was like, oh, I knew that was a choice for me, because obviously I've already had a home birth. But what I didn't know is that they might even promote it themselves on the website. Like, the midwives might even be willing to come to your house, because it was quite a different world I lived in 2 years ago. I didn't fully have my OHIP. And so when I was trying to call midwives and I was trying to tell them about my situation, which was very complicated, but I was trying to tell them about that, they, just weren't interested. Fair enough, I didn't have the OHIP, and, to pay for services, midwife services, just wasn't an option. So we had an unassisted birth, everything went well. This time around, I would really like a professional to be there with us. We went to the hospital after the fact, but I really wanted to birth at home, because I just felt like that was the best place for me to be. And it turned out that it was. So I'm grateful to God that it was. And our boy is healthy and happy. And this time, though, as much as I have been leaning toward going to the hospital, I think I'm still, because this video came up synchronistically, i.e. I was looking at hospital birth, and then I saw that they had this video on their website that was talking about how they've had plenty of successful home births as well. And I thought, well, this is great, because this is something I've already done, and I wouldn't mind doing the same kind of thing again, but this time maybe with a midwife. Now, I would go into the hospital if I thought there was something wrong. I'm definitely not averse to doing that. Like I say, we did go in after my son was born, but technically I feel like home birth is more of the right option for me. I'm quite a homebody. I don't go out a lot. We're even thinking of homeschooling our children, which we'll get to that when I come to it. I'm not sure how much how good I'll be able to homeschool, but I do have my teaching degree, and so I am a teacher technically, but part of me is like, well, you know, maybe they should go to school, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole that I don't know if I want to go into right now. All I'll say is that I didn't necessarily have a good time when I was at high school, so does that make me slightly biased and kind of want to do homeschooling? Yes, it does, but that doesn't mean that I'm quite balanced. I would never choose something because I absolutely hate the other version of something. I only choose it based on the fact that it's more resonant to me. If I was to get pregnant and I was to feel like something is wrong and like I don't want to have a home birth, you know, I would listen to that. So it really does come down to each day is different. And, you know, tomorrow I might even feel different about circumstances than I do today. But I try not to get bogged down with that, because that actually stops me from posting on YouTube more often, out of the plethora of reasons that I don't post, but I still end up posting something, so I'm grateful for that. And essentially, yeah, I just feel like sometimes the internet is forever, but then again, if you believe in the Akashic Records, everything is forever. So again, another rabbit hole I will not get into in this video, but I am hoping to get into those things at a later stage. Who knows? But if you have something that you want to ask, then please feel free, and I will try my best to. I'll be honest, I do prefer like having a conversation with you guys as much as possible. So feel free to ask me a question if you have one that comes up, whether it's about home birth or parenting or just anything that you've been really wanting to ask me. I'll be happy to answer it. But essentially, I think that's all I'm gonna say for now. I'm like 80% sure I want to have another child, and again, there was that period of time where I was like, no, thank you, I don't want any more. And I'm not sure what changed my mind. I think I've always wanted like at least 2 children. It goes back to like years and years ago when I was like envisioning, like I would just say things like, oh, I think I'm probably going to be pregnant by the time I'm 27, and that happened. And I think I'm probably going to have like a couple kids. I don't know who I would have said that to, but I just remember saying that. And so it's kind of like I end up falling back on like what I said a long time ago. But like I said, things can always change. I've had like a beautiful experience with motherhood. It's also been really tough. Like it's brought a lot of stuff through, but it's brought through a lot of understanding as well. So I wouldn't change it for the world. I think that being a mother is a wonderful gift. And I have another friend to thank for that, because I was already planning on having my first child. a couple years ago. No, like even 2 years before I had Elliot, I was planning on having a child because I was looking into home birth and I was doing all the research and educating myself on all the books and all the courses and all the stuff. And I used to have visions of this spirit baby coming to me and telling me things. And not to get into too much detail, but essentially she reached out to me and I call her my guardian angel sometimes because that's what she feels like. Although I don't think I've ever told her that, but I've told her that she's like Elliot's fairy godmother. And it's because she reached out to me and she told me that she saw a vision of me having my child in water. And what's really interesting about that is I really resonated with that vision, and I was like, you know what? We've been thinking about having a child, Eddie and I, and it's just so cool that you would reach out and you would tell me that vision because we've been thinking about that. And anyway, I did have a wall, like we had the pool set up. We bought like a blow up pool for my home birth, but I think I was only in there for like 20 minutes and the whole thing just split. There must have been some pin or needle that got in there and there was just water all over the floor. So I didn't end up birthing in water. But I did have a home birth and it was wonderful and unassisted and scary and wild and incredibly just, I don't know how to describe it. I wouldn't say that it was painful. There were moments of pain, especially like the birth with the ring of fire. I actually was going to slow down like my birthing process because he's crowning and I'm like having ring of fire, which is essentially where your body is telling you that you're about to rip. If you like, that's what ring of fire is trying to tell you. And I knew that, but we were both concerned because there was like a gargling sound in his throat. And I was like, well, I don't want to risk it. So I didn't listen to my body and I just pushed him out because I wanted to make sure he could breathe, and he could, and he was fine. And, you know, since then I've watched plenty of documentaries and a lot of the babies gargle. They make this like gargling sound when they're trying to breathe. So I think it's normal. But I even spoke to the midwife that kind of influenced me to do a home birth, and she said that, you know, it's probably a good thing that you pushed him out when you did because you just never know. And so, you know, I didn't want to put him at risk with that. But yeah, my whole pregnancy, I did everything myself. I measured the baby. I did all the tests from home. Everything that I was educated to do by other midwives. But if I really needed to, then I would go into the hospital. It's not my favourite place, but I would. And so who knows what this next pregnancy will bring. But we are planning it. We don't necessarily have the space, which is my only concern. But then you think about the fact that this is this tiny baby. I mean, how much space can you really need? But we are going to be moving house in July, so I think we're just going to have to figure something out. Obviously, we're not going to have baby before then because I'm not even pregnant, so hopefully we'll be landed in some other place. Hopefully it will be more spacious. Hopefully I'm going to be able to be a bit more active in my video making process, in my content. I'm really hoping that that's the case, and hopefully Eddie is going to have plenty more customers that are going to come through for hypnotherapy. I will say that it's been majorly helpful to me, but you guys who have watched my videos recently will probably know that. But yeah, he definitely is helping people to get to know themselves on a deeper level and get in touch with their subconscious minds. Because yeah, when you're kind of more of a homebody, which we have ended up being, we don't go out for work or anything like that. You kind of get to in touch with your deeper recesses of your mind, which can be a good or a bad thing. But for me, like, getting in touch more with my subconscious mind, with my superconscious mind, with my dreams and things like that, that stuff interests me. Like, you can still live a life outside of being super physical all the time and being out there with lots of people in the real world. We are connected in other ways as well, more subtle ways, and I think that's wonderful. And I love connecting with people from all over the world, even though we might not necessarily have conversations very often or even at all. I do feel like there is a connection that we're all connected in a way that we can't always put words to. So I don't really know where I'm going with that. I think I'm going to stop rambling right now. And yeah, so that's just what I'm up to. And hopefully, yeah, I could do a few more vlogs here or there. We're trying to build a second studio. Like, this is the office right now, which Eddie uses primarily. So we're trying to build me an office, but because we're moving in July, I'm not sure what we're gonna do yet. But like I say, I really would like to get back into doing more ASMR even, and yeah, for now it's just kind of talk video style, podcast style, because I think for my ASMR I would like to do more fantasy stuff again, like my Inner Earth videos that I used to do, but obviously probably with a green screen, because there is some beautiful nature around here, but it's just really hard for me to get to because I don't drive yet, which I really do need to get my license. But yeah, I don't drive yet, so I only really have access to the golf course, but the golf course is only open in the winter for me to use, because as soon as it gets warm, like springtime, everyone is on the golf course, and that is like the only nature that I can reach around here apart from our garden, which is beautiful, but we have neighbors on either side and really loud cars, so I just haven't been able to do ASMR in nature like I used to be able to do, like 4 years ago, 6 years ago, which sucks. And I have fought so often with my husband about that fact, because obviously I am from the UK, and where I lived was beautiful, and never mind, we've built our life here in Canada, so I think we're going to stay in Canada. The prices to move back to the UK are insane for foreign people. Like, I can move back there because I'm English, but to bring my husband, like, the prices have just been driven up so much that I think you kind of have to be a middle class family, pretty rich, to be able to afford that now. So anyway, point is, we're gonna figure it out. We've got a lot of things that we're planning on. 2 major big things that you can ever imagine, apart from getting married, which is having a baby and moving home. So those are 2 pretty big things that I'm going to be getting ready to go and do. And I wanted to update you about that and ask what your experience was like with home birth or with your hospital birth. If there is a positive story you want to share. I don't particularly want to read tons of negative stories about that. Trust me, I have read plenty and I've heard plenty. Although it's fine if you want to share that, just as long as it's not trying to be, fear mongering, because we're not about that on this channel. So anyways, I hope that you're all doing well, and I hope to see you again soon. So take care and let me know where you're at.